Hey, what's up, guys? This is the first video in the Ableton Live 10 Ultimate Tutorial series. This series is going to be geared towards the beginner, and I'm going to guide you along so that you will be proficient in music making using Ableton Live. And this is the third iteration, and this is my third attempt at making a Ultimate series. The previous iterations were for a previous version of Ableton Live. This is the one for Ableton Live 10. This is my second attempt at making this. I started making this series last year, but I fell ill, and here I am a year later, and I'm just moved and very excited that I'm going to start this again. This is going to be all encompassing. This is going to be all of my knowledge about this program I'm going to be relaying to you in video form. This is going to be the third iteration. I'm going to be introducing some new ways of teaching. It's not going to be linear in its structure. It's not going to be, here's all the effects, here's all the devices, here's the MIDI effects, here's what a channel. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do things, I'm going to jump around. It's going to seem like I'm jumping around, but then you'll realize that as we're moving along, these immediate ideas that I introduced, you'll be able to apply to previous ideas, and you'll be able to make connections and further develop the theory. And it's the theory of learning, and it's something that I've kind of studied in the last little while so I can better help people achieve what they want to achieve. So let's talk about what Ableton Live is. And I want to start off by stating that it's called Live 10. The company is called Ableton, but it's interchangeable. You'll hear me say Live, Ableton Live, or just Ableton. People say that it's Ableton, but that's actually the company name. It's interchangeable, so don't get confused that way. For all intents, this is just people just call this Ableton. I call it Live or Ableton Live, but just call it whatever you want. Call it 10 for all you for if you really want to, I guess. So, what Ableton Live is it was originally to be a live performance program. And it was there to accompany musicians, and it was meant to be, next to a turntable, and you could have loops and stuff going on. And it was really good at that. Then people really liked that, and people started using it for jamming because it's non-linear. Linear means that, you have a timeline, and you just drag and drop things and stuff like that. The non-linear aspect of Ableton Live is called the session view. Don't worry about all this terminology. We'll get into it deeper. It allows you to audition ideas without putting it in context of a timeline. So you're just focusing on those single ideas, and those ideas are called clips. Ableton is clip based, and it was really good for that. And then it developed into a fully fledged DAW at the end of the day, and it's really robust, and it's really changed in the last couple of years. I started using Ableton Live in 2005, and it was version 5 that I started using, and I started using it because I read an interview that Paul Van Dyk was using it, and I was like, holy crap, Paul Van Dyk is using this new thing, this new piece of technology I've never heard of. I'm going to start using it. And, since then I was like, this makes sense to me. I came from FL Studio, for those wondering. It was kind of not that great back in the day. In my day, there was a strong notion that, if you wanted to pursue music seriously, you needed a Mac and you needed Logic, and there was no compromises. Ableton Live was a toy for music production, and people resisted it, and it would crash a lot. The filters weren't that great as per like today's standards, and people really kind of dismissed it. And boy, have times have really changed. Now, FL Studio and Ableton have a massive market share in the electronic music industry. So there you go. Was Paul van Dyk a visionary? I think he was, and maybe I could kind of tell the future, just to pat myself on the back, but not really humble brag. Anyway, since 5, there's been a number of improvements, and when 8 hit, it really became a fully fledged DAW. They completely redid the code. They redid the EQs and the filters. The EQs are now mastering grade. They are fantastic EQs, and everything just became more and more responsive. And since 10, it's been 64-bit only, so they can really focus on the development of just one version. And there's, theoretically, there is a limit to RAM and 64-bit address spaces, but it's very large, and we won't be able to achieve or max that out in the foreseeable future. Unlimited track, all this fun stuff. It's really great. Multi-core support. So since 8, it's become one of the big guys, in my opinion, and that's really great. So let's talk about the format of this course. I kind of hinted at it earlier. The format of this course is geared towards the beginner, and I'm going to try very hard to not confuse, overwhelm, or bore your pants off. I'm going to be thorough with my explanations. I'm going to explain them, every aspect visually that needs to be explained, so you have a better understanding. I have new tools. I have the ability to draw shapes on things I wish to highlight, so I can then talk about them. Because before, I would just kind of wiggle my mouse over them, and you'd be like, what is he talking about? So there's that, and that's pretty neat. When I'm using a clip or a file, those files will be available for download in the pinned comment down below. So if I say, in this video, we're going to be looking at blah, 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 you can go into the pinned comment and you can download it. There's not going to be an email. It's going to be a direct link download to my Google Drive, and you can download, say, if I want to say, here's, pink noise, check this out, use this as a reference or whatever, see what it does when we sweep a filter over it. You can download that and then drag it in. So you can keep up. There's no kind of guesswork. And all those files, I guess, I'm putting in the public domain. It may seem like I'm skipping over things, but those things will be advanced, and I'm going to visit them later, so you'll be able to make connections later with previous concepts. And again, I'm going to be repeating myself, repeating core concepts so that they sink in. Repetition is important, and it builds your theory, and it will help you flourish. And multiple concepts will seemingly be taught at once. So keep that in mind. I can't kind of show off or explain a concept without kind of introducing one you might not know yet, but then I'll explain that, and then things will click. I'm going to try to, I have it really structured. I have notes, and I'm going to make sure that we all get through this together. And as always, when I started this channel, I kind of didn't know what to do in terms of my explanations, and there was a time when I had no idea what I was doing. So when I'm speaking and explaining things, I'm pretending that I'm explaining it to a younger me who's kind of next to me. So I'm kind of talking to myself in my mind's eye or mind's ear or whatever. I'm explaining it to myself in a way that I would understand back then, and I think that really works. And I just want to kind of end this as, you're going to get a lot out of this. Music production is a great form of self-expression, gives you that dopamine drip, and it will boost your self-esteem and make you a happier, more confident person. Personally, I started getting confident when I was able to make music that was somewhat, listenable, palpable. And I think that's really, really exciting and significant. And as as years go on and I'm continuing to make these videos, I get more and more confident in my video making and the way that I explain things. I have the confidence to speak into a microphone to the internet, and I've improved a lot over the years. I don't mumble as much. I speak English clearly that people have a way of understanding. And before, I was just the shyest person in the world. I would hit record and I wouldn't be able to speak into the microphone. I would just clam up and freeze. And here I am confidently talking for hours on end. So, it's a worthwhile thing. And yeah, this series is geared towards all audiences, so, there'll be no language or anything like that. There might be some humor sprinkled in, but, and this course is for everyone. Everyone should be able to watch this. So, there's that. Let's get started. Hope you stick around. Thank you so much for everything, and see you soon.